Hey, welcome back to the BVB podcast. My name's Jacob, joined as always by Carver. And I was thinking about this before we started recording, Carver, because my go-to is like as always. And I just have to say, if it's Jacob, it's as always with Carver. But it might not be, if it's Carver, it might not as always be Jacob. So
I was thinking about welcoming you in. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing pretty good. Shout out to Brian and Eli from Dortmund Dispatch who were on last week, and Carver who's just been kind of holding things down. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm doing good. It's busy. I did just random, nothing to do with soccer, nothing to do with work. Took my car in for an oil change. I knew there was so much more wrong with my car today, and they hit me with it. And so the rest of the day I was just kind of looking at other cars I might need to buy.
Don't get me started on a car dependent country over here. For anyone that's not American, I'll do it. I'll do a whole hour on public transportation and car dependency.
Carver, no joke. I looked up the St. Louis Metro Transit schedule for tomorrow morning because I think I'm going to be doing that to go to work. I think I'm going to bike down to the metro station, which is not close to me, and then take that down to work. It is not going to be smooth by any means, but I don't know. I was like, well, why not? If I'm going to be without a car for a little bit, then they literally made me sign a release waiver or like a liability waiver because they're like, your car is not safe to drive home. And I was like, I'm only like a mile away. I can do it.
Well, the Greenway's a great place to start too for anyone that's, I doubt it, that's familiar, but we're getting there in terms of walkability and biking paths, all that.
Anyways, that's my day. Let's talk Dortmund. Not that it's any better, but let's talk about it. So
yeah, that's what I've been trying to avoid.
But we can keep talking about public transportation if you want. Or throw it to the country that has way better public transportation. Germany and the Bundesliga. We just got about a month left of the season, 4 games left, and congrats to the champions. Bayern secured their trophy again. This always happens, but I feel like this is the time of year I want to be excited about Bundesliga, Carver. Like we talk about how great the league is, and it is, and there's some good battles. Like there's good battles for the Champions League spot. Our match over the weekend kind of played into that a little bit, but it is a little frustrating when it's just like, Bayern won again with a few weeks to go.
Yeah, I feel like it's been at least 2 or so seasons where it's been decided this early on. I can't remember the last time it's been decided for any team in April. I hope I'm not misremembering, but yeah, I knew that Bayern had a chance to win at the weekend, and it still kind of caught me by surprise. But a part of that comes to Dortmund just kind of handing them the title with another atrocious game here at Hoffenheim this weekend.
Well, I mean, this game would have had no effect on the title, but yeah, let's talk Hoffenheim. We're away at Hoffenheim. It was a big game. Obviously, like Hoffenheim's been a good team this season. They're fighting for a Champions League spot. It was a must win for them. So, they had everything to play for to get back into the Champions League. And yeah, they were able to do that. We go down because some penalties. We were able to fight back, but man, I'm a little rusty, Carver, because I don't have the starting lineup ready to go, but I will get it in a second. And yeah, let's jump in with starting 11. Fabio Silva gets a start up top. I'm going reverse. I don't know why I started with Fabio Silva. Just saw his face first. Sitting behind him. I've never done this reverse fashion, but I've started, so we're doing it. Changing things up. Bayer and Chukwuemeka get the start as well. Svensson, wing back with Bellingham, Sabitzer in the middle, and Rierson, the other wing back. Our center backs are Schlotterbeck, Anton, and Sula, who gets injured again, and then Kobel in goal.
Yeah, this first half was one of the worst first halves I think we've had in a while, and there's a few that you could pick from, too. I said last week that this team needed a reaction first and foremost to come out strong, to have a clear game plan. Now, Hoffenheim, they have had dips in form as of late, but they still are at home. They're still fighting for a Champions League spot. Of course, we know it's going to be tough. They have lots of goal scorers on their team, but Dortmund has to do better. They simply have to do better. My concerns with Niko Kovac and his style of play have only been growing exponentially as of late for the main reason of he has full weeks to prepare for these games. And that's not even including the international break where he had multiple weeks to prepare for these games, to prepare the players mentally, physically, and we're still playing the same, if not arguably worse. And yes, we are missing some pieces in our puzzle. Mecha is probably the biggest one, being that engine in midfield. And Job has tried to pick up some of those pieces, given the quality that Mecha provides. It's tough to replicate. But either way, there's just little to no preparation for Kovac in these games, and it's extremely frustrating, right? I mean, I'm a high school coach. None of this, at least in terms of quality or anything like that, or man management, load management translates to that sort of level. But I do know, and I do have experience with periodizing. For those of you that are unfamiliar, it's you planning out your week or weeks, multiple weeks for your schedule coming up in terms of games. So you look at your training session objectives, your training session type, your structure, your game moment, your phase of play, area of the field, your principles from your game models. You're picking just one or two at most, so you're not going a mile wide and inch deep. Focus on those. You have your duration of your sessions or whatever you got to do. You have a full professional coaching staff behind you to focus on what Dortmund have been lacking as of late, and that's creating goal scoring opportunities and actually finishing these chances. There's very little penetration or just ideas going forward. And, this first half is another prime example of little to no creativity. We're not playing brave by any means. There's no forward thinking. We're a team in general, to wrap it all up, we're a team that's hard to beat. And not an example of these last two games, but a team that's hard to beat, but it's also a team that's hard to beat opponents as well. We have little to no vision of how we're able to break teams down, even teams that are more offensive minded. So it's really frustrating.
Do you, with the full week and just looking at the lineup, like my one question, and correct me if there's a good chance I might have missed during the week, like what's the reason for Girassi not starting in this match is my question. Like with the full week off, did he have a knock or anything? Like, was he coming back from anything? If I missed that, please let me know. But
I was gonna say, please excuse my ignorance. I could be wrong. I don't think there was any sort of knock or fitness issue. I just think our strikers have been incredibly ineffective as of late, and maybe Kovac finally had more guts to put Girassi into that, or excuse me, to put Fabio Silva in that starting lineup. And of course, it didn't pay off. We're really struggling for any sort of confidence in our number 9 at the moment. Yes, Girassi, did momentarily kind of revive and save us here with his striker's instinct, something that's pretty rare for him this season, definitely in the Rückrunde. But outside of that, there's been little to nothing that's been offered in terms of our 9s as of late.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that even with the, I'm not trying to say oh, hindsight, yeah, he comes on and he scores. But I just think to put ourselves in a better position, I think overall you probably want to start Girassi, just even with the dips and forms and the inconsistencies, I don't know. I know earlier in the season we were also calling for Fabio Silva to get a chance as well. But yeah, I don't know. That's just one thing that sticks out to me. All that said, with us unable to break down, almost more frustrating too that we do lose because 2 penalties given, and especially the late one when we are able to get a goal back after Girassi subs on. We're able to get one and tie it up pretty late, and then to a few minutes after that give up a stoppage time penalty to give them the 3 points.
And I don't really have many complaints about the penalties. I mean, they're somewhat harsh, whatever, but they've been called a million other times against other teams and other divisions and other countries, and it's simply not good enough to begin with. This shouldn't be really an excuse. This is 2 losses in a row. Just a few weeks back, we had 2 losses in a row, but the major difference there is in the Bundesliga. And we've had a lot of flat performances for several weeks now in a row. And I get that there's not too much to play for, but at the same time, we just need to be doing better. Kovac said in preseason going into this one that we need to be building off the momentum that we built whenever he originally came in, off that sustainability, keep improving. And we're not seeing anything really pushing forward, pushing through that wall of where we were, almost a calendar year ago. I do have a quote here in this press conference afterwards where he said, "We saw clear dominance from Hoffenheim in the first half. We weren't present on the pitch. We gave the ball away way too easily. We didn't create enough going forward and then conceded a penalty. It was given, so I have to accept that. And the hand was away from the body." He talks about the penalty a bit more. But after that, he said, "Apart from the goal and 1/2 chance, however, we still didn't manage to create many more dangerous scoring opportunities. And with the second penalty, you lose. And that's a shame for us, but it's not undeserved." And Hoffenheim did play better than us. They, it was very simple, but it was effective in how they played in those opening minutes, getting the ball wide, sending in those deep crosses, hitting the bar early on. It's nothing super profound tactically, but Dortmund couldn't really handle them. Hoffenheim, well, both Dortmund and Hoffenheim are 2 teams that are under pressure, and Dortmund you would expect, being a much bigger club with more quality players at their disposal, to play a bit more bold, more on the front foot, to put them under pressure. Again, given these past few weeks of very lackluster performances, you expect us to be better, and we're just simply not playing good enough. And it's not even really close. A few positives that I can even try to conjure here. I know Filippo Mane is back in the squad here. He didn't play this game, but he's back in the squad after a few months of absence. Nice rotation of Sula getting out and Mane getting back in. I want to be seeing more youth in there. Mane has looked very up to speed whenever he has played this season, even though it's been in short spells. I saw that on the BVB website, Sula has a minor knee injury and is expected to be back by the end of the season. I only mention that because I don't want him playing again, and the club will probably not exercise any sort of extension like they did with Emre Can. So we won't have to worry about that, at least as of now. So I just need to see more changes on top to bottom. Players, management. I mean, Kovac has got to do better, and these last few games are going to be it for me if he can actually, take this team forward.
Yeah. So I know with the Bundesliga title being won, with us being out of Champions League, just a few games left, I want to say, yeah, that it feels, even looking at points, it's like, okay, we should be solidly second. We should at least finish solidly in second. But is there any concern that that Leipzig makes a push? They're on 59 points. We're on 64.
Yeah, they've been sneaking up the table as of late.
Stuttgart's at 56. But given the trend of how this team has been performing, is there actually any concern for us losing that second spot? Because I think that would kind of be disastrous a little bit if we can't just hold on to this second place spot.
God, I hope not. To go. I mean, the management of the club and Kovac for quite some time now, it seems like their goals have been pretty clear, which is to finish second place this season, to create distance between us and teams behind us. And if we're not even achieving that, then what the hell are we doing? If we're already complacent in mediocrity and just trying to get second, third, fourth, that Champions League spot and kind of be complacent there, and we're even struggling to do that, what are we doing? So, God, to answer your question, God, I hope not. But I think these next few games are going to be a pretty big tell for that, because we're on a pretty big trajectory downwards. And at any point, the players can wake up, and of course, Kovac can wake up and form some sort of game plan that could get us results again, because results have been really what's been saving our season, despite the really questionable play the majority of the time. And we've got full weeks of preparation to do so. So I don't think there's any excuse for us not to get as many wins as we can here these last, 4 games? 4 games?
Mm-hmm. 4 games. To go off that a little bit too, I think coming into this season, based off last year, and of course we made that like a great run last year when Kovac came in to get in the Champions League spot. We knew this season was going to be, I don't want to say like a bit more of a transition year with different players coming in. And then, I mean, definitely not getting in as many players as we wanted, but I think second at the start of the season, we would have been like, all right, that sounds great. If we can solidly get second, and Bayern's probably going to win. Like, I hate going in with those kind of expectations, but I know we wanted to make a run, probably a deeper run in the Champions League, and of course go for the Pokal. We've kind of failed there, but I guess like getting second at the end of the season where it's a bit more of a transition year, like that overall feels good if you're looking at it at the start of the season. What doesn't feel good is if these last 4 matches, if we don't end in a solid way, then that's going to feel a lot worse, especially if we lose that second place spot. Like, I think we should be able to hold on to it. But if, let's say, even if we end second, but these final results aren't the best, or we don't win, we aren't able to really turn things around, like how do you see that setting us up for next year? Or where do you stand? Like, do we need to make a change with Kovac?
If Leipzig are somehow able to leapfrog us, and we're continuing the same level of play that we are right now, I don't see a reason why we would keep Kovac, to be honest with you. There is a lack of, many things, but again, intensity, a clear game plan, cohesion. I mean, this game in Hoffenheim specifically, had so many miscommunications all around. There was a chance at the half-hour mark where Silva was caught on his heels from a good cross from Ryerson. Just minutes later, Chukwuemeka doesn't make the right decision to play him when he makes a run. You could argue that some of those are individual things, but it's becoming more and more apparent that a lot of these plays in attack, especially when we enter that attacking third, a lot of miscommunications and there's a lot of disconnect. And it just has to be better. I mean, Dortmund have shown plenty of times in the past that we've been able to do more with less. And Kovac, when he was originally hired, I think he was getting the best out of a lot of the players, and it's almost become the opposite as of recent weeks. A lot of players look worse. There are a few that, like Ryerson, who has like a career high of 13 or 14 assists in the season. But outside of that, there's not much going on that looks promising for the future. And with Book now as a new sporting director and his philosophy of looking for more bold attacking players, prospects with diamonds in the rough, smaller markets. And I know Kovac is kind of the opposite of that, right? He wants well-established players, gritty players that are going to do the dirty work and just stabilize. I don't know if it's enough for us to actually push and actually win anything.
Yeah. Especially we already know next year is going to be another transition year, or a year of a lot of change. I was going to say,
yeah, it seems like every goddamn year is a transition year.
But even with the confirmed departures, it's already more known like how much change is going to be. It's going to occur. It's going to occur going into next season, where that's always been like, yeah, we hope that we're signing a lot of players and bringing a lot of players in, but there's already been confirmation of guys going, so we're going to be bringing people in, and so it's going to be interesting. And I do think there's some interesting coaching candidates out there. I apologize. I told you I was going to ask you some questions. I didn't give you a heads up on anything. If we were to make a change with Kovac, I think I have one that I think you're going to say. But do you have any coaches you would love to see come in?
Realistically, or just what would I like to see?
I would see realistically, or either. I don't know, the one I think you're going to say, I feel like it could be realistic.
Which is what?
Thomas Frank.
Well, I guess I was a fan of him at Brentford, wasn't I?
You're not
I'm
a fan anymore?
Skeptical now after the Spurs run.
Why? Spurs are a shit show. That's
maybe it's a perfect match made in heaven with two train wrecks at the moment, right?
I don't think that's his fault. I don't think it's his fault that Spurs are getting relegated.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, not his fault alone, but there's definitely enough blame to go around. But there needs to be motivation from these players. There needs to be the right mentality, which is, of course, has been a talking point for us for quite some time. And yeah, I'm not seeing that at the moment. There has to be a change from Kovac, and if not, there has to be a change made at the coaching realm as well.
So no names. Carver's going no names on me.
Not right now.
All right, we'll save it. What you got about BVB Frauen? You got some updates for us there? If you want to get into that.
Yeah, we had a big game at the weekend against Bielefeld. We drew 1-1. For those of you that are unaware, Bielefeld scored early on in the game at the 11th minute. Dortmund went into halftime for the first time in this season, if not the past few seasons, trailing. And we eventually did equalize here in the 76th minute through Friederike Kempe. But it was an enormous opportunity for us to draw level on points with Köln's U21s. It was an opportunity that went begging. Dortmund still have a game in hand, but we are now 5 points behind Köln for that first spot to be projected into the playoffs and for a chance at promotion. As a reminder, Köln do have a tough run of games here in these last few weeks. They play Essen's U21s for their next game on May 3rd, who currently sit 5th. Then they play Leverkusen's U23s on May 17th. So 2 tough games for them. And on the other side of that, Dortmund, however, they play only one team in the top 5 as of now before the end of the season, and that's also Essen's U21s, and that's going to be at the end of May. So, you can kind of pick around and see who's got the tougher schedule. I would argue it's Köln, but we still have to keep pulling our weight. We've got that game in hand and just keep the pressure on Köln. I mean, there's definitely an opportunity for them to slip up, and then we can leapfrog them here in these last few weeks. There's a little over a month to go. I think there's a week or so break, at least for a handful of teams like Köln. But either way, we'll just have to keep chugging along, and I'm excited to see how the season ends either way.
And if you just want to keep up to date or just chat with people about not only Dortmund, but like BVB Frauen, if you want to learn more about or stay up to date with what's going on with that team and BVB in general, make sure you join our Discord. You can find the link in the description of this video or this podcast episode, wherever you're listening or watching. Join our Discord. It's a great community. You can meet other Dortmund fans, and maybe as the season winds down, even though we're not playing for anything, you can go meet up with some fans to watch a few of the games coming up. We are wrapping up the season. Like we said, we got about a month left, 4 games left, starting this final run with Frieburg. We're back home this Sunday. Kickoff is at 11:30 Eastern time.
Frieburg have been in a great run of form. They've only lost 1 of their last 7, and I believe that only loss was Bayern, and that was even then only a 3-2 loss. So very, very narrow loss for them. And outside of that, they've been really finishing the season strong. They've got some great players this season as well. They always have a few gems every season, but Manzambi in particular is someone that I definitely is on my wish list. I'm not sure if it'll be financially feasible or not, but either way, I would love to have him here. So he's going to be, of course, a spark for them on both sides of the pitch. Please feel free to watch him a bit this game. He's going to be, their box-to-box player where he's going to be making tackles in their defensive third and then carrying the ball, if not finding the ball in the attacking third for a shot or a goal-scoring opportunity. So he's someone that I'm worried about. Outside of that, I mean, Matanovic, only 9 goal contributions, but of course a big physical presence. I know with Sula gone, he was a big one as well. Big physical presence in the back line, but I think we'll be, fine to replace him. There's not been much that's been missing from Sula anyway. So I think we'll be good there, and just hopefully we can keep Frieburg at bay. Again, at home, it's not going to be hopefully any sort of similar circumstances the last home game, and the fans can give them the push to go on and get a good result here.
And if you made it this far listening, just to let us know you're there, we got 4 games left. I want to know your predictions for wins, losses, draws. So let us know how we're going to finish the season. If you believe in Kovac, if you can turn things around, because like you said, Freiburg's been on a good run of form, and it's going to be a big test, especially if we show up like we have done the last couple matches. So yeah, just let us know. If you're listening on Spotify, you can leave a comment on the episode. If you're on YouTube, you can do that as well. Apple Podcasts, you can't really leave a comment, but I'll just encourage you to go to our Discord and let us know there. Again, you can find the link to that and get connected with us in the description of this episode. Freiburg this Sunday. Then we're away at Gladbach, home to Frankfurt, and we finish the season on May 16th away at Werder Bremen. I think that wraps it up for us. A nice quick one for you, Carver, unless you got anything else.
Yeah, don't forget, just another reminder, and I'll do another one next week, that we are planning a live stream for Sunday, May 3rd against Gladbach as well. We'll be joined by a guest, so please feel free to come and hang out. We'll have segments planned. I want to engage with you guys. This will be the first live stream we've done in a while. Obviously, we'll be watching Dortmund as well. Hopefully a win in Gladbach. It'll be a fun time. Please join us and give us a review too if you want.
I appreciate you guys hanging out and listening, and we will see you later.